Electricity. We use it every day. Whether it's boiling a kettle for a nice hot cup of tea, or switching on our computer to do some homework, electricity plays a major role in our lives, but there is a problem. We use too much. In the last 50 years, power consumption in the UK has effectively tripled, from an average of 2,410 kilowatt-hours per person per year in 1960 to an average of 6,120 kilowatt-hours per person per year in 2007. This is mainly because of the use of labour-saving electric machines such as irons, dishwashers and showers. As you can see, this is just one appliance that we use. If you think about all the appliances that we use, such as kettles, toasters and microwaves, and then think about everyone in the world using them, then you get the kind of idea of how much electricity we use. We mostly rely on fossil fuels for our power. Fossil fuels are things like coal and oil, made from the decomposed living things of the past. These caused an imbalance of carbon dioxide in the earth, and could do harm to our atmosphere. This is the dreaded climate change. We can turn to other sources of energy, like renewable energy, such as wind, solar or tidal, but these energy sources have a less energy to money ratio. Basically, it costs more than fossil fuels and produces less energy. Another alternative is nuclear power, but there are some danger factors involved with that. One of them is nuclear waste, which is a byproduct of nuclear power generating. It's a highly radioactive substance, and even though we have the space to store it, we can only get more, because it takes about 10,000 years to decay and become safe. When people think of nuclear power, they think of the Chernobyl disaster, and that it could happen again. Chernobyl was one of the worst nuclear power plants in the world. It had bad funding, untrained staff, and terrible engineering, and they decided to do a very risky test with the cooling fans in between shift changes. Modern nuclear power plants are very safe, and a Chernobyl could never happen again. Because coal mining related deaths are so common, it's not reported. It's estimated that 50,000 to 100,000 Americans die each year from lung cancer from air pollution. We would need a Chernobyl every 3 weeks to come close to that figure. Even a disaster like the recent Fukushima nuclear power plant disaster in Japan, which is at a Type 2 reactor, that's not the most up-to-date reactor, is still not as severe as the risks involved with fossil fuel work. So we have seen that we can't go on much longer using fossil fuels, and that renewable energies, although good, doesn't produce much energy and it's still in its infancy. Nuclear energy seems to be a good source of electricity because it's safe and doesn't put carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. And before you ask about the nuclear waste, there are power plant designs on the drawing board that produce little to no nuclear waste, so most of the waste that will be made has been made.